what's the dream? Like where you kind of gotten to where you are now, seeing the journey that that your family had to build out. I didn't get to really ask this about you traveling, going back to Vietnam and getting to be able to experience that or show your family that, but what's the dream? What are you fighting for? What do you want out of life now? What's the goal? Like what's your vision for kind of the future for yourself?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to to sail in the sunset. Kind of like that story I told you about the teacher that had to leave in that way. Like you want one day to sail the sunset, and you look at your life and you feel like you did good for your kids. And my dream is really just building something to leave for my kids, and having a successful career to where you can retire. I want to be able to retire just like my parents in our own way and be successful and look back at my career and say I helped out all these families doing it, and having my sons look at my career going like, hey, I want to be like dad. I want to be in finances. I want to do something. But whatever they want, obviously, is cool. But you just want to leave the world in a better place and be a good person to where people go. Like you said, I mean, that's like the best compliment, not like how successful, it's like how humbling, what a humble person you seem like, or
Dude, yeah.
how you make me feel as a person.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like everybody's chapter is different. Like you never know who you're talking to. Like you could be talking to a person right now that could be like not doing well, but later on they become Elon Musk, because everybody has that potential to be great. You just have to tap into it, and that you never know when it hits in your life that you have the opportunity. Right.
Mr. James Dinh.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Have a few. We have a random questions we have you, and then this is it. This is kind of the phase we have some deep questions. So just to kind of put some sprinkles on top, just to make it a little bit interesting. But awesome. So if you're ready to jump into it, we'll see what you got, sir.
Sure. Fire.
Okay. How? Sorry, excuse me. How would you rate your life, and what could you do to improve it?
That's a good question, Gio. Thank you. How would you rate your life? Like a scale, like 1 to 10?
Yeah. I've tried to get you earlier, but
yeah. I don't know. I think it's like a 7, right? Because in life, I think if you want to be successful, you always have goals and you always want it. Like you're never really satisfied, and that's what drives me. And I could be a better dad, right? I could be a better Catholic, for example. I could be a better son to my parents. I could be more present with my parents because, they're getting the later years in their life, And you could always do better in business and be the most successful, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And be a better husband. Like I'm an average husband. I'm not that great. I'm like the nicest guy, but like I'm brutally honest with my wife. But that's the reason why I think I love her so much, because I'm able to be myself. With other people, like you hide the version of you. But with her, if I don't like something, I'll say straight up. And like it's liberating, because in life I used to always be the people pleaser. I was always a people pleaser. I always followed the rules. And now as you get older, you're like, wait a minute, like this is like a different side of me. This is my villain stage, as they call it. You know what I mean? I'm not a villain whatsoever, but
sure.
like I get to be like more of who I truly feel I am. So we're always evolving, and I'm still muted. I haven't cussed one time in this, but obviously, I try to be professional as anybody. But
right.
We also hold back of who we truly are, I guess. So
that's a great answer.
Thanks.
What's the best life lesson you've ever learned?
What's the best life lesson? This goes back to one of the best books I ever read was The Millionaire Next Door. And the Millionaire Next Door.
Sarah's gonna write that down for me.
Is a book about. It's not about your offense. It's about your defense. Okay, and what that means is, like, let's say you're a lawyer, and your profession requires you to wear like Armani suits, or you know what I mean, like drive a European car, and your neighborhood is other doctors and lawyers. So yeah, you might make 200, 300,000, whatever a year
Right.
in your profession or more, right? 500, whatever it is, but your defense sucks because you're spending on luxury cars.
Right.
And in this book, they did a survey, not a survey, but like they did a test case where they invited these multimillionaires to like a dinner party. And they asked, and they're like, oh, well, we better stock it up with Don P and like, you know, the caviar and the fanciest things. And these millionaires would slowly come in where they ask them questions, and they all wear like jeans and a t-shirt. And like, they're like Wrangler jeans, you know what I mean? Like they're not like, like expensive jeans.
Yeah.
And
True religions.
Yeah, true. Yeah. They're like, what do you want to drink? And they had all these champagnes ready. You're like, what's your cheapest beer? They're like, Bud Light. Like, I want a Bud Light. It's free, right? Yeah. And when I read this book, when my wife and I moved to Buena Park, that was a lesson we taught each other. We're like, we don't need to keep up with the Joneses. Like I wear like old shoes. I wear the same jeans that I've worn for like the last 3 years. This jacket, this thing is from Target.
Hey, shout out to Target.
Right. The sweater's banana.
Target, you know?
Yeah. The sweater's banana, but my wife forced me to buy a banana, you know, like forced me to buy it. And she's like, you need to buy something for yourself. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
All my videos, I wear like Nike t-shirts in my TikTok videos. And they're all like for the Nike outlet. You know what I mean? Like I make a sandwich every day. I don't go out whatsoever. Like I stopped going to Starbucks, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So your defense, like, and if you don't have a partner that plays defense, my wife's defense is like the Ravens defense, the Super Bowl Ravens defense, man. Her defense is top tier defense. You know what I'm saying? But like if you and your wife are both spenders, like you'll never get ahead. Because most of these millionaires, you know what they did in the book? They owned like a car wash, or they owned like a laundry place. They were like self-employed. And a little bit of college. You know, so the millionaire next door is not who you think the millionaire next door is.
Yeah.
Is that you could make a decent living, but if you save so good, that's how you build wealth. So that's my biggest life lesson that I learned, that I could teach people, that I hope that in this podcast, if someone's listening, like you gotta read that book, The Millionaire Next Door, because like it truly taught me how to be successful.
Jeez, man. Okay, I don't even know if we can get the rest of these. So, what do you think life is about? I'm laying them on you, man.
This is the Life Podcast.
Yeah.
I think life is just about us all discovering what makes us happy and coexistent with our neighbor. You know, because life's not fair. You know, I'm gonna get dark on you. Like no one cares about, like we all, like our favorite channel is Me FM. That's our favorite radio station.
Me.
Right. You know what I mean? Like we all, like people die every single day, and we just kind of move on. We're just like, you know, when my brother died, what was crazy is like people are like, man, you're handling this pretty well, and like because I know this, like I could post it on like Facebook, you know, rest in paradise, Joe, I love you. And then you could be my friend and you could see that and go, man, that sucks for James. What a great guy. It sucks for his family, his brother. I miss him. Then the next thing you scroll and you see, oh my God, Sarah just got a new puppy. How cute. Right? And life is so harsh and life is so crazy that we just don't know what the end game really is. You know what I mean? Like, what's the end game? And so to me, I'm like, whatever you do, you and you're happy and you just like are a decent person and you don't screw it up for the rest of your neighbor. You know what I mean? And you raise a kid that's your kids that are just productive citizens. You know what I mean? And we just kind of like it's like the telephone game, you know, like you whisper something to one person and the next person you just hope has the same message.
Right.
But it's always like a different message at the end.
Yeah.
It's like you said, I went to the grocery store and I bought banana and eggs. And the last person goes, I went to the mall and I bought this and that. You know, it's like a totally different message. And what I mean is just like you just hope that your life, the domino that you drop is a positive ripple. You know, the pebble, the great Bruce Lee said, you know, the pebble that you drop in that pond has a rippling effect through everything. And you just hope that the ripples that you do are positive and not negative. Because life sucks, man. Like so many people sugarcoat life, and like it's like you and I can have a great conversation, but somewhere someone's struggling. They lost somebody.
Huge.
You know, it's just not fair. As you get older, you realize like life's just not fair. Yeah.
Do the best you can.
Yeah.
What's one lesson that would really, let's say, help your son?
You got to teach your kids about money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not money driven whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to teach your kid. See, because what happens now is that like kids have so much access to information that we never did. Like when I was kids, like Encyclopedia Britannica. I don't know if you or your audience know, but like when you're a kid, it's just like the internet. When I was a 90s kid, internet was just invented. Like it wasn't like we could Google stuff. You know, like rich families would have Encyclopedia Britannica in their house.
Yeah.
And now everybody has access to information. And you can learn and be self-taught. But there's a reason why, in my opinion, that like people aren't taught finances. Because the elites, you know, I'm not a conspiracy theory or whatever.
No, sure. Yeah.
I'm not into conspiracy like that. But
you were a teacher in a school.
Yeah, but the cream of the crop, there's a reason why not everybody can be a millionaire. There's a reason why. You know what I'm saying? So you have to teach your kids the importance of finances, the importance of savings, investing, how money can change your life. Because if you don't teach your kid this, we're seeing a nation now that investors out there are turning everybody into eternal renters. So meaning there's institutional investors are now buying homes at like the 300, 400,000 or less range. And they're keeping these homes just to rent it out to the public. So if you don't think about that and think that like our kids may never own their own homes because that target keeps moving, then now us as parents now have to think about buying the home for their kids. That's what it is. So you got to get ahead of the curve and go like, hey, this is what it's like. People are going to turn into renters the rest of their life. So if you don't teach your kids about money, wealth, then now how can you retire and how can you help your kids? Because you can't. Yeah. That's what's sad about it.
Well, I think that's a good lesson for your son, right? Make sure you manage your money and you got to kind of prepare for that, kind of rich dad, poor dad type of mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, another great book.
Final question.
All right. Thanks.
What's a memory you keep holding on to and why?
Dang, a memory I keep holding on to and why? It's just more like I said earlier, like regrets. I think before we started the pod, you know, like I regret that I didn't learn Vietnamese. That my parents weren't like, no, you have to learn Vietnamese. They wanted us. They were so proud to be Americans. That they were so proud of us like learning English because of this great country. I wish they said, hey, every Saturday you got to go to Vietnamese school.
Mm.
Because to this day, like, I'm embarrassed as an adult to talk to another Vietnamese person. When a Vietnamese person talks to me, I now feel like a little kid because I can't understand what they're saying. I can't communicate. That's how crazy that is, that people don't think about. Like, your language, your culture is so important. Like, I was embarrassed for a long time when I was a kid and I had to change my mindset. Now I'm very proud to be Vietnamese. But what sucks is it's the difference between proud of Vietnamese and then you talk to another Vietnamese person and you get humbled, like, dang, I don't know any Vietnamese. And then they look at you as like, you're not even Vietnamese, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's hard because it's like, you know that.
They don't, if they knew your story, it's like, that's just like.
Right. So I make my son, like, my son does Korean school every Saturday because my wife speaks Korean. I'm like, I told my wife, rain or shine, our kids need to speak 2 languages because you lose your sense of self. You know, I was so much a Twinkie growing up, and now I'm kind of like more comfortable in my skin, being proud. Like, I couldn't share the story in my 20s. You know what I mean? Like, I was not proud. Like, but now I'm like proud of my heritage, my culture, whatever you call it. But it takes a while in life to get to that point.
Well, I think this next phase of your life might be a time where you can take some, you got some extra time to do a class or two, it's never too late,
Rosetta
right?
Stone still there?
We have a painting that's been donated. I think that one thing is that I think a lot of people see money as like this root of evil. Right. But I don't think many people understand just like how much influence that can happen through charity, through like just the positive things that the only way I met you is due to the fact that another customer gave me a referral from you. Right. A customer that I've helped do kind of through solar, they passed it. Yeah, if you were looking for someone who's actually going to care about you, right? Who doesn't just want to use your money and just, okay, cool, here's like, who's actually going to really take the time and really make sure you're educated on how this process goes, then you need to talk to Mr. Dinh. Yeah. And this painting was kind of just a representation of how a transfer of money in hands, right? Solar to me or me to the solar to the customer, and then the information to be able to sit down with you and now be able to, help me through my journey. It has literally changed my life in a positive way. So I hope that this painting can be a kind of representation of something positive that money has happened in not just obviously in your life, but in life as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you know what's crazy is, like, I saw this recent thing with Oprah, and Oprah's like as successful as you can get, but she said that she's a great manifester. So she said one of the reasons why she's so successful is she pictures something, she can attract anything she wants. So she goes, I want $1 billion. She knows how to attract it. So it's the same thing with money. It's just like when you learn like how to attract it, and like the secrets of it, like the book The Secret or Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like a lot of those books teach you how to have that right mindset to be able to attract it. So that's really cool.
Thank you, Mr. Dinh, for being on the show. Thank you for everyone who's joined us. Where can people find you? How can people connect with you? I know you kind of shared it already, but if you don't mind, we'll put it in the description. But
yeah, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, James the Lender, and through there I have a link in my bio. You can reach out to me. You can do a Calendly. So in my bio, you can set up like a 15-minute convo, and you can email me. I get clients from all across the country that reach out. Like I've gotten people from Georgia, from Florida, from Tennessee, from New Jersey, and they found me on social media. And they reach out and just providing value. Like a lot of these people, they just want advice. Yeah, and like you learn in life, the more value you give to other people, the more your worth will come. Your money's just the byproduct of the value you give upon people. So never worry about money in terms of like I'm never worried about making money because I know that my value is helping people, and through that people you get rewarded. But never lead the way with money. There's a book called The Go-Giver. That's another good one. Where when you lead the way of helping people and being the person of value of helping, you have to lead with helping, because that's when people go, okay, I see value in you because you're helping me. Not like, hey, like, look me up, I can get you a loan. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares, because people care about what you can help them, and then that point is when they reach out to you.
This information used to be very hard to get, Right. You have to pay a lot of money to be able to get to these. Now, people like you giving out this information for free. I mean, it's just, I think the giver is a great title for your life.
Go giver.
Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate those who kind of tuned in, and and this is obviously the never-ending story of him, and we're excited to kind of archive that and put that one in the book. So, happy Thursday. Let's get after it, and thank you for being on the show. Bye, guys. Yo. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
I'll tell you.